the Red Sea. For millennia, its name has echoed through history, a vital artery of civilization carved between the deserts of Africa and Arabia. From the pharaohs of ancient Egypt to the merchants of the Roman Empire, this narrow waterway has been a conduit for trade, culture, and conquest. Today, its significance has not waned, it has intensified. The Red Sea is one of the most strategically important waterways in the world, a critical maritime crossroads linking the industrial powerhouses of Asia with the markets of Europe. It forms a liquid highway connecting the Mediterranean Sea via the Suez Canal in the north with the vast expanse of the Arabian Sea and the Indian Ocean through the narrow Bab el Mandeb Strait in the south. These two choke points act as gateways, and whoever influences them holds immense leverage over the global economy. Because of this unique geography, power shifts in and around the Red Sea don't just cause regional ripples, they create global shockwaves. Any disruption, whether from conflict, political instability, or even a single maritime accident, can trigger immediate consequences for international trade, energy security, and the delicate balance of geopolitical power. The story of the Red Sea is the story of a region in constant flux, where ancient rivalries and modern ambitions collide. To understand the complex dynamics at play, we need to break down the current and historical power shifts that define this critical arena. First, the Red Sea is a fundamental trade artery. Approximately 12% of all global trade, valued at over $1 trillion annually, passes through its waters. This isn't just raw materials, it's the finished goods that stock our shelves, the components that fuel our factories, and the vehicles that fill our roads. The alternative, sailing around Africa's Cape of Good Hope, adds thousands of miles and up to 2 weeks to shipping times, dramatically increasing fuel costs and insurance premiums. The 2021 blockage of the Suez Canal by the container ship Ever Given provided a stark reminder of this vulnerability, costing the global economy an estimated $400 million for every hour it was stuck. Second, it is a lifeline for global energy security. The vast oil and gas reserves of the Persian Gulf from producers like Saudi Arabia, the UAE, and Qatar rely heavily on this route to reach European markets. A significant portion of the world's seaborne crude oil and nearly 10% of its liquefied natural gas, LNG, transits the Red Sea. For a continent like Europe, which has been actively diversifying away from Russian energy, the stability of this corridor is not just an economic concern, it's a matter of national security. And third, where trade and energy flow, military power follows. To protect these vital interests, global and regional powers maintain a formidable military presence, particularly concentrated near the Bab el Mandeb Strait. These bases are platforms for power projection, intelligence gathering, counter-terrorism operations, and ensuring the free flow of commerce. The Red Sea has become a crowded theater, a chessboard for the world's navies. The competition begins with the nations that call the Red Sea home. Each has its own history, ambitions, and vulnerabilities. 1. Egypt. As the gatekeeper of the Suez Canal, Egypt is the historical heavyweight of the northern Red Sea. The nationalization of the canal in 1956 was a defining moment of post-colonial defiance, cementing its status as a vital global choke point under Egyptian control. Today, canal revenues amounting to billions of dollars annually are a cornerstone of the nation's fragile economy. To protect this asset, Egypt maintains the largest and most powerful military in the region, positioning itself as the guardian of the Northern Passage and a key arbiter of regional security. 1. Saudi Arabia. With its long western coastline, Saudi Arabia is undergoing a profound transformation. Under its Vision 2030 plan, the kingdom is pouring hundreds of billions of dollars into developing massive economic cities like NEOM and tourism projects along the Red Sea. This is a strategic pivot away from oil dependency, making the security of this coastline a paramount national interest. Simultaneously, Riyadh is expanding its naval capabilities to project power and counter its primary regional adversary Iran, whose influence it sees spreading most dangerously across the water in Yemen. 1. The United Arab Emirates, UAE. A smaller nation with outsized ambitions, the UAE has pursued an agile and commercially driven foreign policy. It has built a strategic network of influence by investing in and controlling key ports, creating a string of pearls across the Horn of Africa and the Arabian Sea. By securing footholds in places like Berbera in Somaliland and the strategically priceless island of Socotra, The UAE uses this port diplomacy to project economic and military power far beyond its borders, securing its own trade routes and shaping regional politics to its advantage. 1. Ethiopia. A continental giant with over 120 million people, Ethiopia is the most populous landlocked country in the world, a status it has held since Eritrea's independence in 1993. This geographic reality is seen by its leadership as an existential threat to its economic future. Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed has declared that sea access is a non-negotiable national interest, a stance that has sent tremors across the region. The recent memorandum of understanding with the breakaway region of Somaliland, trading potential recognition for a naval base and port access, is a bold and risky move. It directly challenges the sovereignty of Somalia and alarms Egypt, which fears a more powerful Ethiopia could exert greater control over the Nile River's headwaters. 1. Eritrea and Djibouti. These two small nations punch far above their weight due to one simple factor: location, location, location. Djibouti, stable and strategically situated at the mouth of the Bab el Mandeb, has transformed itself into a global military supermarket. It hosts bases for a dizzying array of global powers: the United States, China, France, Japan, Italy, and others. They are all willing to pay a premium for this strategic real estate. In contrast, Eritrea, with its long and undeveloped coastline, remains more isolated and unpredictable, a wildcard in the regional power game. 1. Somalia. Possessing the longest coastline in mainland Africa, Somalia is a nation of immense maritime potential but chronic instability. Decades of weak central governance created a power vacuum that, in the 2000s, gave rise to rampant piracy, threatening global shipping until a multinational naval effort suppressed it. Today, that vacuum allows foreign powers, including the UAE, Turkey, and Qatar, to compete for influence by backing different political factions and securing port concessions, often undermining Somalia's national unity and sovereignty. 1. Yemen. The devastating civil war in Yemen has transformed the country's strategic coast into a front line. The Iran-backed Houthi movement, by controlling much of the Red Sea coastline, now wields direct influence over the Bab el Mandeb Strait. This proxy conflict between Iran and the Saudi-led coalition has given a non-state actor the ability to threaten one of the world's most important sea lanes with sophisticated weaponry, including drones and anti-ship ballistic missiles. This intense regional competition is overlaid and amplified by the interests of global powers. The United States has long played the role of maritime security guarantor. Its Bahrain-based Fifth Fleet and its key base in Djibouti, Camp Lemonnier, are tasked with securing shipping lanes, countering Iranian influence, and responding to threats. However, as Washington seeks to pivot its focus to the Indo-Pacific, it finds its resources increasingly stretched by the escalating challenges in the Red Sea. China's arrival was a game-changer. In 2017, it established its first-ever overseas military base in Djibouti, a clear signal of its global ambitions. Beijing frames its presence as necessary to protect its vast economic interests under the Belt and Road Initiative. This dual-use strategy, using commercial ports and infrastructure projects to enable military and strategic reach, allows China to challenge the long-standing U.S. dominance in the region. Russia too seeks a return to the world stage. It has long pursued a naval base in Port Sudan, a move that would fulfill its historic ambition for a warm-water port and grant it direct access to the Indian Ocean. Such a foothold would allow Moscow to project power into Africa and the Middle East, but the ongoing instability in Sudan has repeatedly stalled its plans. European powers, particularly France and Italy, maintain a significant presence in Djibouti, a legacy of their colonial histories and modern security concerns. Through missions like the EU's Operation Atalanta, their focus is less on great power competition and more on the defensive necessity of protecting their own vital trade routes and combating threats like piracy and terrorism. When we step back, several powerful trends emerge from this complex picture. First, the arena is shifting from local to global. A regional rivalry between Saudi Arabia and Iran playing out in a civil war in Yemen now directly results in Houthi missile attacks on Danish-owned container ships, prompting a military response from the U.S. Navy. Local disputes are no longer contained, they are internationalized instantly. Second is the inexorable rise of China. Through its Belt and Road Initiative, Beijing has become the region's largest investor and creditor, increasing its economic leverage and its stake in regional stability. Its military presence is designed to protect that investment, creating a powerful feedback loop of economic and military expansion. Third is the expansion of Gulf influence. The UAE and Saudi Arabia are no longer passive actors. They are actively pursuing their own independent foreign policies, using their financial and military muscle to shape the strategic environment in the Horn of Africa to secure their economic futures. Fourth is Ethiopia's ambition. Its determined push for a seaport is the newest and perhaps most volatile element in the Red Sea equation. This quest for maritime access has the potential to upend existing alliances and create new flashpoints, particularly with Somalia and Egypt. Finally, the nature of maritime security threats has evolved. The piracy of the 2000s was largely a criminal enterprise driven by ransom. The threat today, exemplified by the Houthis, is geopolitical. It employs military-grade, state-sponsored weaponry to disrupt global trade for political ends, presenting a far more complex and dangerous challenge to international order. In short, the Red Sea is a microcosm of our turbulent 21st century world. It is shifting from being a passage for trade to a primary arena for global competition. Here, local conflicts like those in Yemen and Somalia are inseparable from great power rivalry between the US, China, and Russia. The ambitions of rising middle powers like Saudi Arabia and the UAE clash with the historical needs of nations like Ethiopia. All these forces are converging on one narrow, indispensable stretch of water, making the Red Sea a critical barometer for global stability for decades to come.